You know, people often talk about how bad things are in our country, almost as if they're talking about a sick patient. But what if I told you there really is a way to measure the collective health of the nation? And it's called the Human Development Index, the HDI. This is by far the most effective way of doing a health check on a nation. According to the United Nations, the three pillars that make up the Human Development Index are life expectancy, education, and standard of living. If you look at the HDI world rankings, in the top 10, you will find obviously some of the most developed countries. But Pakistan sadly is not even in the top 100. So why do we score so low on the HDI, even when we compare ourselves to similar countries? If you look at the first pillar of HDI, life expectancy, in Sri Lanka it is 77 years, in Jordan it is 75 years, in Bangladesh it is 73 years, but the life expectancy for a Pakistani is only 67 years. Similarly, in education, the HDI takes into consideration the expected number of schooling years a citizen has access to at birth. In Sri Lanka, it is 14 years of expected schooling. In Bangladesh, it is 12 years. In Jordan, it is 11 years, while Pakistan only has 9 years of expected schooling at birth. The HDI also makes a distinction between expected schooling years and completed schooling years. Most Pakistanis only complete 5 years of schooling on an average. Finally, let's look at the last factor on the HDI, the standard of living. The index measures the standard of living in a country by looking at all the money earned by a nation and all its businesses combined. This is known as the gross national income, or GNI. By looking at the GNI, economists at the World Bank can determine the poverty line in each country. In Pakistan, people making less than $3.20 a day are deemed to live below the poverty line. But how does this match up against other middle-income countries in the region? Let's take a look. According to the World Bank, 16.6% of the people in the Philippines live below the poverty line. In Jordan, it is 15.7%. In Sri Lanka, it is an impressive 4.1%. And in Pakistan, 24% of the population subsists below this line. This amounts to approximately 50 million people living in abject poverty. As we can see, these statistics together paint a very bleak picture of our collective national health. But we mustn't despair. Remember, we can only solve our problems if we understand them and accept them. The first thing to realize is how closely our economy is connected to spending on education and health. It's really quite simple. A healthy and an educated population will contribute more substantially to the national economy. Our resources are limited, but we can at least try to meet the average per capita development spending of countries with similar conditions. Even within our peer group, Pakistan lags way behind in development spendings. In just a few decades, a country like Bangladesh has become one of the fastest growing economies of the world because their performance on the HDI scale has been consistently better. This is also a developing country born from the same womb as ours. So how did Bangladesh achieve this miracle? The answer in one word is manufacturing. Today, Bangladesh has the world's biggest garment manufacturing industry, second only to China. This growth engine has tripled per capita income in Bangladesh and lifted 8 million people out of poverty in the last 10 years alone. Can you believe it? It's a true story, but it's really very simple. More manufacturing means more exports means more foreign exchange, and more foreign exchange means more resources for human development. Our policymakers must realize that the future of healthcare and education in Pakistan is linked to our GNI. Manufacturing growth can be an engine for human development. So, what can we do? Here are 3 recommendations. Pakistan must increase its health spending from the current 2.6% to at least 6% in order to meet the median for the middle-income countries. Second, Pakistan must increase its tax to GDP ratio from the current 9.6% to at least 18% and redirect these resources towards health and education. Finally, just like many other countries have done in the world to support their local manufacturing, our government too must implement import substitutions to increase domestic manufacturing from 13.5% to 25%. I know that sounds like a lot to do, but remember, only if we get our priorities straight and invest in ourselves, we can break the paralysis and improve our nation's collective health. I hope and pray that day comes soon. Pakistan, Paindabad.